Right, so, okay, so next up we've got Oleksandr Baranovskyi. He's currently a senior research fellow at the Institute of Mathematics at the National Academy of Sciences of Ukraine. Okay, now back in 2003, when he was a PhD student, he started to work on some of these LaTeX classes because he wanted to typeset his PhD thesis properly. Now that seems like a problem that many of us have faced and have found people to do something about it. And of course, Oleksandr then has co-founded a whole company called the doctoral services company to continue his development in his thesis package and to support users more efficiently. So he's going to tell us about the current status of the project and some plans for future developments. Okay, so let's welcome Oleksandr. Oleksandr, yeah.
Thank you, Ross. I will share my screen. I hope my slides are visible now.
It is. Yep, fine, perfectly fine.
Thank you. It is a pleasure for me to give a talk at this conference. Thank you, organizers. I will speak about vakthesis. This is a bundle of LaTeX classes for typesetting doctoral thesis in Ukraine, according to official requirements. And I hope, as any other LaTeX class, these classes should help also to write the thesis, not to typeset. The main idea is also write the thesis, and the computer will typeset the thesis for the author. I will start from the short overview of this software. The main components of vakthesis bundle is 4 classes. These are a traditional vakthesis class and vakref class. The first one is for typesetting thesis. And the second one is for typesetting the so-called self-summary. I don't know if it is a correct word, but I will use the word self-summary in this talk because I have not a better word. In Ukraine, PhD student should prepare the thesis and also autoreferat in Ukrainian. That is, PhD student make a short summary of his or her work. This is a self-summary or autoreferat. And this self-summary is an independent document, and it should be sent to the list of some libraries. These traditional classes typeset thesis according to obsolete now official format required by the VAC. This is a state institution in Ukraine. This institution is responsible for a wide spectra of issues related to thesis preparation, thesis defense, and so on. Also WAC issue degree certificate, and so on. Now this institution does not exist, and its functions moved to the special department of Ministry of Education and Science. So in 2017, the Ministry of Education and Science published own guide on thesis typesetting. So there are two modern classes for typesetting thesis and self-summary, respectively. Also, there are some auxiliary packages and files. I will mention some of them later. Also, there are example files. So PhD student can just take this example, fill with own information, and receive a ready-to-use thesis. Of course, this is possible only in perfect world, but there is a possibility. What PhD student can receive with these LaTeX classes? First of all, title page of a thesis or of a self-summary, typesetted according to official requirements. Next, headings of chapters, sections, subsections, and so on. I mean, format of chapters in the text, as well as how they look in table of contents. Numeration, proper numeration for pages, chapter, sections, subsections, appendices, captions of figures and tables, proper formatting for theorem-like environments, list of reference, of course, abstract and list of keywords. This is only available in modern classes. It is not required by the traditional classes, by the traditional guide by WAC. Now I would like to show example. This is an example of thesis. This file can be found in the vakthesis bundle. Could you see the page? Maybe I should.
I should perfectly visible.
Visible. Oh, okay. Okay.
Can't read it because I don't know the language, but it's certainly visible.
Yes, this bundle is intended for Ukrainian users, so all information is in Ukrainian. But I will explain. Here there is a name of a PhD student, the title of their thesis, specialty, the name of degree, the name of institution where PhD student studied, the name of supervisor, and some other information. This is abstract. In modern guide of the Ministry of Education and Science, there is a requirement to give an abstract in Ukrainian language as well as in English language. This is a list of publication by the author of thesis, a table of contents, introduction. There are some prescribed sections in the introduction. There are here in this example. This is example of the chapter 1 and the sub-chapter section. This is example of definition, equation with numeration. On this page, you can see example of figure, example of table. There is a conclusion to this chapter 1. There is a general conclusion. This is a list of sources cited in the thesis. There is appendix and list of also publications is repeated in the appendix. Oh, that's all. So this is a final PDF file. In the next part of my talk, I would like to discuss some LaTeX programming tricks that I have studied and related problems. I would like to start from a relatively easy case, but this is a real life case. In Ukraine, any thesis should be classified according to the so-called list of specialties. In fact, this is just a table where any specialty, any possible specialty has special code. For example, the code 01.01.01 is a code for specialty mathematical analysis. Also, the field of science is given in this table. For example, physical and mathematical sciences. So PhD student should write on the title page of the thesis the code, the specialty code, the specialty name, and also field of science. And in this case, PhD student will be awarded by degree candidate of physical and mathematical science. In fact, there are also degree of doctor in Ukraine, and during the last years, the situation is changed. Now, degree is called as in Europe and America, just PhD, but this is on non-essential details. I will skip this. But that it is redundant to ask also to write specialty name or field of science if specialty code is already provided. I think vakthesis classes should compute this information having specialty code. So there is a special command specialty. The mandatory argument is specialty code. Then vakthesis or vakref class take information from the special database and put the information on the title page and in other parts of thesis. It is possible to use this command with first optional argument. This is a specialty name. It is possible to use this command with a second optional argument. This is the field of science. Some explanations of this situation is given in my preprint. I will not speak about this now. Of course, it is possible to use the specialty command with both optional arguments. But it is easy to see that this command cannot be defined by the standard LaTeX tools. First specialty is first optional argument is before mandatory argument, and the second one is after mandatory argument. So this command cannot have the following form as usual LaTeX command because can be only one optional argument can be used. Only first, only second, also both can be used. Moreover, this command cannot be defined by the standard command new command. So we need some instruments to define such a command. First of all, TeX primitive def used for this, and very useful internal command if next char. Here you can see some pseudocode explaining this definition. But the main topic if next char. If the next char is bracket, we go to one branch, else we go to the second branch. In fact, this is an easy idea, but the code is not so easy. It is difficult to maintain this code. Also, this approach cannot be extended for 3, 4, or 5 optional arguments. So I like this approach, but on the modern versions of classes, I just rejected this idea and use very nice key value interface for this command, and for some other commands. The next example is a bit complicated. In Ukraine, we often use two reference lists in thesis. The first one is a list of references sources, and the second one is the list of authors' publications. Generally speaking, it is not possible to use two commands bibliography in one document because BibTeX will see only one command and ignore other command. But this situation is not rare. There are some solutions how to make two reference lists in one document, but existing solutions are not useful for me for some reasons. So in vakthesis bundle, I developed my own solution. In a few words, you can see on this slide there is a special BibSet environment. This environment works as the following. During the first run, the commands bibstyle and bibdata are written to auxiliary file from the first environment, but on the second run, the first environment is ignored and information is given from the second environment. But after first run, we should rename a generated BPL file. Also, on the second run, we should rename the generated BPL file. Oh, sorry, is misprint here. Should be example thesis 1 BBL, and should be example thesis 2 BBL. And the last step, LaTeX will include first and second BBL file. So we will have two reference list in one document. You can see this in the example I demonstrated earlier. The next example, I should give some information about Ukrainian grammar to give example. Okay, in Ukrainian language, a noun and some other parts of speech can change its form to express its syntactic function in a sentence. And there exist 7 cases of a noun. I will not give a lesson of Ukrainian grammar, but it is just example. For example, consider the word universitet. this is university in Ukrainian. This is nominative case of this word. But when I want to say I study at a university, I should use a vocative, a locative case of this word. Я навчаюся в університеті. You can see the ending of the word is changing. Also, there is a preposition here, в університеті. How it is related to the doctoral thesis? This is on the next slide. On the cover page of self-summary, PhD student should write the name of institution where he or she studied. Also, on the reverse side of cover page, there is a sentence when there is the name of institution again, but in another case. I think it is bad idea to write the same sentence in different forms. So vakthesis contains a common institution. The mandatory argument is the name of institution, and then a special package casus compute all the forms of the name of institution and use it. So vakthesis can use different forms in different parts of the thesis. Briefly, the algorithm of this package is the following. First step, we should split the sentence to word. It is simple. Now we check every word. For example, национальный. Is it belong to the list of known words? No. The list of known words is given on this slide. University, institute, academy, school, library, and so on. If this word is not a known word, then we decline this word as adjective. Casus package has rules how to decline nouns and adjectives, and then check the next word, педагогічний. This is adjective to university. University. This is a known word, so we decline this word as a known and stop. The rest of the sentence is not changed. Any name of any institution in Ukraine has this form, so this algorithm just works. So user can give a nominative case of the name of institution and receive all the forms automatically. Unfortunately, the real world is more complicated than theory. Some user reported me someday that casus does not work in some situation. Moreover, he received some mystic error messages. The reason is the reason is that casus package does not work if a file is in UTF-8 encoding. Traditionally, the whole vakthesis bundle is in the so-called Windows 1251 encoding. But some users need to re-encode files. And so, unfortunately, casus package does not work if file UTF-8 encoded. It's really big problem for me. The idea is simple, in fact. In this slide, you can see an algorithm of decline in a word. Briefly, algorithm just should just find a known ending of word «ый» in this situation. Педагогичный «ый» is an ending of this word. If it is a known ending, that algorithm just changes ending. Педагогичный, pedagogicznego, if user asked the genitive case, or pedagogicznemu, if user asked for dative case. The idea is simple, but my implementation of this algorithm does not work for UTF-8 encoded files. I don't know why. There is a conjecture. I wrote about this in preprint, but for now it's really big problem. I think that my time will over soon, so maybe I should skip some examples. There is an interesting case with hyperref package. This is a very nice package, but unfortunately, vakthesis is not compatible with hyperref. And the reason, in fact, the reason is very simple and maybe stupid. I just check if hyperref loaded inside of command or environment, because I cannot use internal command if package loaded in this situation. This command can be used in preamble only. I use another internal command if undefined, and check if some hyperref command is defined. It works, but for some time it stops to work. The reason is in some version hyperref package does not define hyper1 command anymore. Quick patch is an easy. I just restore hyper1 definition in document preamble, but anyway, this is a bad idea to check if package loaded inside of some command or environment. I think good solution should be the following. I should prepare two versions of command or environment. One for situation with hyperref and one for situation without hyperref. And then I should choose the corresponding version. Oh, and the last example is really ugly. I think I will skip it because I would like to speak about more important questions. Maybe I will return to the last example later. Let me say a few words about current status of this project. Now there exist two separate modules, traditional vakthesis classes and modern MON classes. In 2017, I started to develop a separate module for a new Ministry of Education and Sciences guide, because I want to keep traditional vakthesis classes safe. But now there are separate, and this separation related to some problems. From the user's point of view, installation is more complicated. Of course, using is more complicated. There are some problems. One of the problems related to this separation. I just skipped this example. From the developer point of view, it is also development and maintain it is also more complicated if these modules are separated. For example, like the problem with UTF-H is complicated, and it is more complicated because of separation. And so there are many problems with vakthesis bundle. There exist some alternative solutions. There are links here. However, in some sense, vakthesis is a better solution because vakthesis is supported and maintain it. Anyway, there exist many people that use these classes to typeset their thesis. This thesis belonging to various fields: mathematics, biology, physics, computer science. My first plan was to give some examples here, but in fact, I have not ready to use list, and this thesis are on different places of internet. So I decided to keep it for the other lecture. Also, there is the community of users at the forum of linux.ua. There is some noise. Linux.org.ua is the community of Ukrainian people loving free and open source software. In particular, Linux kernel. There are many persons. There are persons that localize free software, and also there is a bot on this forum where people discuss vakthesis. Sometimes some people answer the questions before I can see the question. So it is a very nice community. Also now there is an option of commercial support. I have co-founded the Dr. Babel's Services company to develop vakthesis, support users, as well as support consult users on any other issues related to TUG and LaTeX. The site is in Ukrainian only now. And one slide about future plans. This is only plans, so only one slide. First of all, I would like to combine vakthesis and modern classes MON. I have said already about problems related to this separation, so it would be a nice step. I cannot just mechanically combine them because some commands, syntax of some commands was changed, so it is a large piece of work if we want to keep compatibility. The second topic is make vakthesis fully UTF-8 compatible. This is also a complicated problem. Next, provide more user-friendly documentation. The next topic is upload to CTAN. Then vakthesis will be available in main TUG distributions. I'm not a professional software developer, so I did not use version control system really, but now I understand this is a very useful software, so I should use this too. Maybe upload code to GitLab, GitHub, or the service. Of course, there are some known bugs always, so it should be fixed. I think realization of these plans will help, first of all, users of vakthesis, especially non-experienced users. Also, it will help developers. For example, anybody can pick up this software if I will drop it for some reason. So I like this list of plan. I hope it will be realized. Okay, to conclude my talk, I would like to say that I think vakthesis is useful software in Ukraine. There are a lot of problems, but I hope problem is a way to study something new. And here you can see the current homepage of this project. It is in Ukrainian only to now. Sorry for time. I will stop. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Oleksandr. We got one or two questions. Anyone want to ask a question about the package? Okay, we're only just a couple of minutes late. Nothing to be worried about. So if anyone has a question they want to ask, raise a hand, and we can allow you to speak. Nothing. I see nothing. So, yes, Ulrika, okay.
I don't have a question, but I can naturally help with hyperref. So if you write me, I can tell you what's wrong. I probably... Yes?
Sorry, I cannot stop sharing my screen, but without this, I cannot see who is speaking.
Okay. It's me, Ulrike Fischer, and I can help you with hyperref.
Ulrike Fischer. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. May I email you after
yes,
the call?
write a mail. It's okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so you don't have a button to stop the share screen? I can bump you off if you can't do it yourself.
I have stopped
Okay.
it.
Yep, you've done it. Good. Well done. Okay, so thank you very much, Oleksandr, and Ulrika's offer to help. It's